It's vital that you learn how to power shot correctly, so make sure you watch till the end. Let's start off by looking at what actually affects how much power you can generate. The biggest factor is where you make contact with the ball. If you hit the ball at the center, it's a decently strong hit. However, to create more power and height, you always want to hit it from underneath. The exact spot will vary depending on the distance from the goal. The further back you are, the more you want to get under the ball. If you want to keep the ball down, the higher up on the ball you want to hit. The next important factor is what part of the car you hit with. Everyone knows that hitting with a front bumper and corners gives you the most accuracy. But there is something you need to be careful of. I'm sure you've seen high-ranked players air roll and tilt their cars when shooting. That's because they're trying to make contact with a certain spot. I'm not going to go too deep into hitboxes because the more you look at them, the more confused you'll get. But the front bumper of your car is essentially a rectangle. You want to always hit the ball with the center of this rectangle. Hitting it with the top and bottom isn't as powerful or accurate. So that's why when you're trying to hit the ball from underneath, you have to tilt your car back so you're making contact with the center and not the top of the hitbox. In the same way, you want to avoid tilting too much as you'll be hitting with the bottom of the hitbox. And the last piece of the puzzle is your flip. To generate the most power, you always want to flip through the ball. And the only two flips you should be using are the front flip and diagonal flip. There isn't much of a difference between the two, it just depends on what angle you're shooting from. If your car is lined up in a straight line, you use the front flip. If your car is coming at an angle and you're making contact with the corner of your car, you use the diagonal flip. If you try to use a side flip, your shot will be much weaker since you're side flipping away from the ball and not into it. Another important thing about your flip is the timing. I'm sure you've had those moments where you've lined up the shot perfectly. You're about to hit under the ball and you tilt back to use the center of the hitbox, but somehow your shot doesn't go where you wanted it to. That's because you flipped too early. You want to flip just as you're about to touch the ball for maximum accuracy. Flip too early and the car starts to rotate before it touches the ball, so you're actually hitting it with the top of that rectangle and not the center. If you're a newer player, all that information might sound overwhelming, but don't worry about it. You don't need to memorize anything. Instead, it's all about getting the feel for it. And to help you, I've created a small training pack which we'll go through together, and you can use this as a warm-up every time you start Rocket League. Watch me do the shot, then pause the video and try it yourself. Starting with shot 1, let's put everything you've learned together to get the most powerful shot we can. Aim to hit a little under the ball, tilt your car back and flip just as you're about to touch the ball. Make sure you're boosting to the ball, as the faster you go, the more power you can generate. Repeat this until you can hit a 95 km/h shot. Next, shot 2. We'll be hitting with a corner and using a diagonal flip. To pass this exercise, I want you to hit one shot that travels at least 85 km/h. If you're getting close but not quite hitting 85, then it's all about the timing of your flip. Try to flip just as you're about to touch. Shot 3. The ball is bouncing now, and this one will help you work on your timing. Aim to hit at least 100 km/h. Shot 4 is like a low aerial. Remember to flip through the ball. Point the analog stick in the direction of where you want the ball to go, then flip. Your goal for this shot is 110 km/h. If you're not getting close, then you might be tilting back too much and hitting with the bottom of the hitbox instead of the center. And shot 5 is another corner shot with a diagonal flip. You don't really need to think about if you should use a front or diagonal flip as long as you point your analog stick towards the goal. That's the most important part. Aim to hit 100 km/h. If you're hitting the ball too high, it's because you're flipping a half a second too early. Get as close to the ball as possible before flipping. I'll leave you to play around with the rest of the shots in the pack, but I'll give a bonus tip for those loyal viewers still watching to the end. Some of you may be executing perfect power shots in training but struggling with them in game. One possible reason that might be is that your focus shifts away from the ball and you start to look at what's happening on the field. It's a good idea to keep an eye on the defenders, but when you decide to go for a shot, all your focus should be on hitting that ball and ignore everything else. Don't forget to subscribe if you're looking to improve on Rocket League. I upload helpful videos like this every week. And if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.